Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to ResolveCon. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here. It is so awesome seeing you guys in the chat, seeing you're from everywhere around the world. It's just nuts, just nuts. So I am so glad to be here. Can you guys hear and see things good? Is everything good? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if everything's good, because I don't want to be talking to myself. Live streaming, right? You know what I'm saying? You guys, Morgan, so good to see you, man. Team Two Films. Oh my goodness, you guys are amazing. Hey, I want to start out just by thanking the wonderful sponsors who make this possible. This would not be possible without Blackmagic Design, DV Resolve, Action VFX, Motion VFX, Nobe Omniscope, Logic Keyboard, and Wipp Templates. You guys are so cool. Thank you so much for making this possible and letting us do this event for free. And so for the good of the world. So man, you guys, we have such a cool few days for you. If you don't know, here's kind of what's going to happen. We are doing a series of live streams throughout the next 3 days for free here on YouTube. So every 2 hours during the day Pacific time, we're going to be having a live stream with a different presenter, and they've all been handpicked by me. Some of the most talented and wonderful teachers on the internet, and people who love Resolve and love teaching and are amazing at it. So yeah, this is the schedule for today. We're going to start out with MrAlexTech, followed by Daria and Alli and Jason and Gedaly. And you guys are not going to want to miss any of this stuff. These are all Pacific Daylight Time times. So we are going to have these recorded, and you'll be able to watch them right after the event. If there is any problem with video quality and everything, we're also recording it in the background, so we'll be able to upload the higher quality stuff later. But yeah, this is really exciting. I'm so excited to be here, you guys. One thing that is hype level 9,000 is we're going to be giving away so much stuff. Our sponsors have been amazing, and they've just like showered us with gifts that we can shower to other people. So the things that we're giving away just during this session, if you type !giveaway in chat, you can register to be part of the giveaways. If you've registered for ResolveCon, if you've RSVP'd, that kind of thing, you're probably already registered. Feel free to do it again. You aren't going to be double registered or anything like that. But we are going to be giving away a $400 voucher from Action VFX. If you guys don't know who they are, they make amazing visual effects assets, things like explosions and fire and that kind of thing. We're also giving away a $100 voucher to Motion VFX that makes plugins for Resolve, graphics and motion graphics templates and stuff like that are all just top notch. We're also giving away a Resolve speed editor from Blackmagic Design. So you guys, everybody in here has a chance to win as long as you register. So !giveaway in the chat. Good. Okay. Our first presenter today is a man who I really respect, I think is wonderful, and I think is one of the best teachers I've ever seen, MrAlexTech. If you haven't seen his channel, he does all kinds of things with editing and tech reviews. And I mean, if you watch anything from MrAlexTech, you will learn something, guaranteed. I learned so much from this guy. So let's go ahead and bring him on screen here. Hey, Alex, how you doing, man?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
So good. I'm so glad that you're part of ResolveCon, man. This is so exciting.
I know. Thank you for having me. And thank you for everyone in the comments for turning up. So it's not literally just me and Casey hanging out on live stream.
It's true. However, if you do want to hear me and Alex talk with each other, we have a podcast. If you type !podcast in the chat, you can get a link to our podcast. If you don't know, it's called the Resolve Creators Podcast, and we talk about the reality of being a creator that uses Resolve, and it's pretty fun. It's a good time.
It is, and sometimes we get distracted and just talk all sorts of weird things.
If you can believe it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, Alex, you're going to be talking about editing at light speed in Resolve today. That's so exciting.
Yeah. We're talking kind of presets and fast things and tips and tricks and all sorts. We've got loads of nuggets of information for you all, some of which you may already know, but some of it's hopefully going to be new. And yeah, I've got a lot to cram in, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, I'll set you loose and let you go, guys. Everybody give it up in chat. Go ahead and spam some emotes or whatever for MrAlexTech. Take it away, man.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. So, yeah, welcome to ResolveCon. Welcome to the first session of the first day of ResolveCon 2024. This is exciting, isn't it? So thank you all very much for joining me. And thank you, obviously, for the crew for having me and everything else. So I hope you're all well. Let me know that you're all good down in the comments section below. I'm not going to read the comments at the moment, but I'll catch up in the future times. So let me know that you're all doing good. And yeah, welcome to ResolveCon. I am kicking things off, as mentioned, so you get to listen to my dulcet tones for about 45 minutes or so. So I'll try to keep you as entertained as I can. For those that don't know me, Alex is the name, and I better known on the internet, on the interwebs, on the YouTubes as MrAlexTech. And I like to try and break down DaVinci Resolve into nice, digestible, bite-sized chunks to try and make video editing, DaVinci Resolve, as accessible as I can, kind of to everyone. I want you all to look at projects and go, yeah, I can do that. Big whoop, no issues. That's kind of my goal in life. So hopefully we can do that today. What I'm going to share with you is some relatively simple, but that kind of tips, tricks, workflow kind of techniques and that sort of stuff to demonstrate how I get my predominantly YouTube projects in and out of Resolve so quick. Because one of the things we have to do as YouTubers is start a project super quick, do a load of stuff quite quick, and then get it out because you're doing it so often. And there's quite a lot to learn from that. So we're going to have some fun with it, really, and see what we can do. Now, obviously being fast isn't the be-all and end-all of editing, but it's kind of a bit of a superpower. Being efficient in DaVinci Resolve is, it's super useful. And there are some things that you can do if you just spend a bit of time setting them up, can save you time every single project. Every single time you jump into DaVinci Resolve, stuff's kind of already done for you, and then you can just crack on kind of with the exciting, fun stuff. So that's kind of the plan. Now, to kick things off, I always like to do this. I'm going to throw 3 random quick tricks at you, 3 quick tips that hopefully you don't know. And the reason for that is because A, it's kind of fun. Tips and tricks are kind of my meat and 2 veg, as I like to say. They're kind of my bread and butter. And also it gets me warmed up and it breaks the ice and all that sort of thing. So here we go. We're going to jump into DaVinci Resolve and we've got some real quick tips for y'all. And the first one is real simple. We're going to go to the effects library. We're going to open up titles and we're going to grab the standard text, the standard boring text, and put it on our timeline. Now, the standard boring text is actually useful for a handful of reasons. Number one, if we put hello, you can format the lines individually. Small thing, but it's really useful. You can change the text, you can change the colors, you can change the positioning, the font by simply highlighting it within the rich text area and changing it accordingly, which is really, really useful. Now, something else that you can do with this, which people miss and people ask me about all the time, snapping, right? So with this text selected on the timeline, underneath your preview window, make sure that you don't have any of these active. So you haven't got the transform on, so you haven't got these white boxes around the outside. Turn all of those off, and then you can actually click the text within the preview. From here, we can change the rotation, the sizing. More importantly, if you click in the middle and drag, there's snapping. And I think it might kind of be the only place in DaVinci Resolve that has snapping, but it's super useful to be able to do a quick title, get it in the bottom left-hand corner because you just want to do like a lower third or whatever without having to mess about. It's really easy to miss, and it's super duper useful. Tip number 1. Hopefully that was something new. Get rid of that. Next up, dynamic zooms. So dynamic zooms are super useful. They are like a slow little zoom that's built into DaVinci Resolve. So to activate it, again, you click on a clip on the timeline, you open up the inspector, you come down to dynamic zoom, you toggle it on, that turns it on. And then underneath the preview, we click the little drop down, we go to dynamic zoom, and then there's the boxes. The green is where you're starting, the red is where you're ending, and then if you hit play, you've got a little zoom. But there's quicker ways. There's a quicker way to do it. So I'm going to turn off the dynamic zoom, get rid of the inspector. So this doesn't have a dynamic zoom on at all. Now, with the dynamic zoom active, so just this actual preview on screen, it's not actually enabled yet because we didn't turn it on. If you simply adjust the green box and then hit play, it turns it on. Now, that seems like a silly thing, but it saves you having to go to the inspector, come down, click the little red box to turn it on, then enable the preview. You can just change the box and it automatically turns it on. You can also change the easing. Just right-click anywhere within the preview, change it to in and out, and now you've got a dynamic zoom with your easing with a few less clicks. Again, super quick, easy, saves you a little bit of time. Now, this is a new thing which I only found recently. If we go to DaVinci Resolve in the top left-hand corner, go to custom keyboard customization. We're going to go in here a few times throughout this one. And in the search, if we search for overlay, if I can spell, there's a viewer overlay, and you can assign keyboard shortcuts to all of them. Crops, dynamic zooms, fusion overlay, open effects overlay, qualifiers, power windows, smart reframes, and transforms. Now, there's already one set for toggle on and off, which is shift and like the little quotation marks, which I don't like that because it takes two hands. So I'm going to change that. You're going to click the little plus. We'll keep that keyboard shortcut, but I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to shift and X because I can do that with my left hand and I'll remember it. And then we hit save. Because we're saving a new mapping, we need to give it a name. So let's call this ResolveCon because why not? Click on OK. And that makes life super easy. I can just hit play. Obviously, there's nothing happening. If I hit pause, this automatically comes on, which is handy. I can kind of change this. And now we've got a dynamic zoom. But now every time I hit pause, the dynamic zoom's always on. It's got the preview on screen. It's annoying. If I hit Shift X, I can just turn it off. And it's a really small thing. But again, I can go, does this photo in this slideshow need a dynamic zoom? Yes. Shift X. Now I've got them on. Toggle it. Done. It's way quicker. And it's one of those really silly things that you keep doing it. And actually, over a bunch of projects, you realize you've saved like an hour of time from having to go into the inspector to turn it on, to change it, to go to the next one, to go, oh, I need to turn this one off. Silly things. Really good. Third and final quick tip. This one is a funny one. This kind of doesn't really fit into the whole theme, but I want to show it to you anyway. I'm going to jump into Fusion. But don't be scared. We're not doing too much in this one. Some of the other teachers will take you around Fusion, but I want to show you this because it's super neat and it's something I'm going to be talking about in one of my other sessions. I'm going to grab any node. Let's just change the zoom, rotation, width, height, whatever. Did you know that the nodes are basically text-based? And what I mean by that, I'm going to grab this node, do a Control-C to copy. I've got a notepad. I'm just going to hit paste and I can see what it's doing. It comes out in text. Now, this works both ways. So I can delete this. And the zoom is 1.667. Let's change this to 5. And then I can copy all of that, paste, and I've got a transform node with the zoom as 5. A, that's a really cool tip that's really easy to miss. B, it means if you've got a bunch of Fusion stuff set up and you don't actually know how to save it into Resolve, you could literally copy the text and dump it into Notion and build yourself a wiki of really useful nodes that you just paste in. And then the other reason is this is really useful because this is how you build fancy macros and stuff. This is it. This is how you build it all. Essentially, it's all this sort of stuff. And on Sunday, I'm doing a VOP workshop for creating presets and plugins. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about. So if you like that sort of stuff, I don't know if there's tickets available, ask in the chat. They'll be able to tell you. But that's the sort of thing we're going to be looking at the VOP session on Sunday. So there you go. Neat trick, super cool. It also works super quick. Let me show you this. Works with multiple. You can grab a bunch. It works with groups. It works with macros. It works with all sorts. It's really clever. So there you go. 3 quick tips, which hopefully you didn't know. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. But I'm telling you anyway, because that's why I'm here. So let's jump into some of the more proper stuff, the real bits. And one of the key things to working faster, which is, again, kind of the main point of this, is staying organized. Now, I hate staying organized. I'm not going to lie. Staying organized is not my thing. generally I'm not very good at it, but I try because staying organized can make your life a whole lot easier. So in this project here, one of the first things I want you to take away is just having bins, having folders can really make your life easier, especially now in DaVinci Resolve 19, because there is now a way, if I right click, to resync media files. So you can actually import a folder. I think I've got one open. I can do a quick demo. So if I grab this B-roll folder here, I can just drag it, drop it over here. It'll automatically create the bin for us and put all of the files from within that bin into here. And now if I was to go and put more files in that folder in Windows, I can then just come here, resync the media files, and it'll pull through the additional video. So it's super key to stay organized, and it just helps just generally. Anyway, now if you are like me and you're not very good at staying organized and you're a bit lazy or you forget or whatever, there's a built-in function within DaVinci Resolve to kind of do some of the hard work for you, and they're called smart bins. So we'll keep that. That's fine. Let's get rid of my effect so we've got a bit more room. In the media pool, we will see smart bins. If you don't see smart bins, you simply click on these three little dots in the top right-hand corner, and you come down and you tick the box that says show smart bins, and then they appear. Now, if we go to the collections, first of all, and expand collections, these are built in. They're automatically there in every single project, and people never look at it. And there's just one super thing, which it does super quick and easy. Video clips. So if you've got a bunch of stuff in your project, bunch of folders, some videos, some photos, some audio, whatever, there's a folder down here which will automatically just filter video clips. So now I have video clips. And if we go to audio only, all of the audio from the project is already filtered out into its own little folder. And as soon as I import more stuff, it's all automatically filtered. So it just saves you that little bit of time. If you're on the studio version of DaVinci Resolve, you can take that another step further because there's dialogue, music, effects, and silence. So what this does, if I go to my audio only, where there's just, a bunch of audio, I'm going to highlight it all, right click, audio classification, and analyze. Again, this is only studio. It's basically going to go through, listen to all the stuff, and now I've got dialogue, and it's just got my dialogue in it. I've got music, and my music's in there, and I've got effects, and there's my sound effects. So if you do want to be lazy and you're on the studio version, you can dump all of your audio, voiceovers, music, all that stuff, dump it into one folder, and then use the classification to actually filter it out for you. It's handy. But you can also create your own bins, which is where smart bins, we'll talk about power bins in a sec, which is when smart bins start to really come into their own. So I've actually got one that says used. So any clips that are on timelines appear in my used folder. Any clips that aren't being used go in my unused, which sometimes it's really handy because you're just like, have I used this clip already? Have I used this piece of B-roll? I don't know. Now it's a really easy way to tell. And obviously you can create as many of these as you like. Dead easy. We simply right click at the bottom underneath all of this other stuff. Right click, add smart bin. Little window appears. We give this a name. So let me show you how I set up my used one. Call it used. The media pool properties you'll probably leave as they are. Then the file name, this is just a bunch of the stuff. What are we filtering on? What are we looking for? So in my instance, there's one called usage, which is it being used or not? And it says is, and there's blank. Now, if we look on the media pool, this will update live so you can see if it's working or not, which is handy. I'm going to go is greater than 0, and anything that's on a timeline will magically appear in my used bin. And anything that's not being used, I could make another one, and I would just say is less than 1 or is 0. We could do either way. And anything that's not being used would be in my unused. And you can tick this show in all projects, which means every single project you open up, that smart bin is always going to be there, and it's always going to automatically filter all your stuff for you. Another great example is 24 FPS. If you've dumped in a bunch of footage, some of it's 24, some of it's 60, 120, because you've got some slow-mo. Let's just go 24 FPS. I'm going to change my usage to be, there's one called shot frame rate. And then you get the drop down. So I'm going to go, is 23976. And it'll show me all the stuff that's 23976. Now, sometimes you may have stuff that's 23976, and sometimes it's also, you've got some other stuff that's 24. So if we click the plus, we can add multiple categories. So I'm going to go with is 24. Now you'll notice that smart bin hasn't updated because you can't have something which is both, right? It can't be 23976 and 24. There's this little drop down here which says match all of the following rules. We don't want it to match all of them. We want it to match any of them. And then we'll get anything which is 24 or anything which is 23976. Click create, 24 FPS. It's always there. It's always ready to go. Do one for 24, do one for 50, 60, whatever you use. You do that once, take you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long it's going to take you. Have a cup of coffee and a scone while you do it. And you'll never have to do it again. And it will just do a bunch of the sorting out for you. While we're here, I guess most people will know about power bins, but let me mention them really quick. Same option, same little menu. There's a little drop down here. We've got show power bins. Power bins sit within the media pool just above your smart bins. And power bins allow you to just save stuff across all of your projects. So if I was to grab this photo here off the timeline, put it in my power bin, next time I open another project, it's always in power bins, and I can just grab it and put it on my timeline. So it just saves you a little bit of time. If we open the effects library, go to effects and grab an adjustment clip. Let's make this like a little punch in, just like a little zoomy zoom. And wherever that adjustment clip is, it'll just do a little boop, a little pop in, boopy boop. In the inspector, we go to file. We can give this a name. Let's call this boop. And then we put this adjustment clip in that power bin. So then whenever I want to do a little punch in zoom, we just grab the boop, put it on the timeline, and it's there. Future projects, it's always there. Handy, super useful. Power bins in a nutshell. Boom. Hopefully this pace is all right. This continues for the entire thing. So hopefully everyone's keeping up and this is all good. Next up, we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? I don't even know. What are we talking about? We're talking about keyboard shortcuts. As mentioned, we're going to be jumping in and out of keyboard shortcuts a little bit as we go. So let's talk about my keyboard shortcuts. There's a keyboard shortcut in DaVinci Resolve that you absolutely should change 100%. It's the main thing you should change. I could have just made this 45-minute talk 5 minutes, me showing you how to change this shortcut, and it would absolutely speed up your workflow. It would. It's amazing. So let's get some better footage to use for the demo. And while we're here, we've got a bonus tip for you. So I always record my video and my audio separately, but my video has audio on it. It just sounds like poop. Like so. Now, I have to sync the audio with my video, but something which is really easily missed, and again, can make you spend more time that you don't need to spend. If you've got a bin full of video and audio and you need to sync it all up, you don't need to do them individually. You can literally just go right-click, sync audio, auto-sync audio, waveform, change any settings that you need to change, sync, and it's going to basically listen to all the audio, all the video, find the corresponding audio, sync it up. So now I can grab that one. Oh, it's got a good audio on it. That one, yeah, that one's got my good audio on it. And that one's got my good audio on it. Super quick and easy. So let's grab one. And let's start talking about my little keyboard shortcut. And it's called Ripple. It's part of the Ripple deletes. So there are actually 3, kind of, ish. If you do a Control B, we all know about this one, you do a little cut. And then let's do another one over here. So we've done 2 cuts here and we've got this middle section. If we hit backspace, that'll get rid of it, but it'll leave an empty space. If we hit delete, it'll ripple delete, which deletes that clip and closes the gap. Now you can actually do that all in one big go. So as an actual demonstration, let's just say this section here, I want to get rid of all of this bit because this is the actual next bit of my conversation, my talk or whatever. Now it's called start to playhead and end to playhead, ripple deletes. And by default, it's Control Shift and the 2 brackets, the open brackets or the parentheses, I think they are called. So what I'll do here, I'm going to do a little cut right there. And then over here where I want to close the gap, I'm going to do Control Shift, and then I'll do the left-hand bracket, the open bracket, and it'll do the cut and automatically close the gap. And we can do it the other way. We do a cut over here. And then we do the same thing, Control Shift close bracket. It will delete and close the gap. And again, if you're doing that over and over, cutting some A-roll together, save yourself loads of time over a really long project. But the keyboard shortcuts are kind of meh, so we're going to change them. And my method is called, I call it the 1, 2, 3 method, because we use 1, 2, and 3. It does exactly what it says on the tin. So what we do is if we go, once again, DaVinci Resolve, top left-hand corner, and we're going to come down to keyboard customization. And we're going to search for, in the little search bar, once again, we're going to search for ripple. Scroll down until you get to this trim and then ripple. And you'll see within here, start to playhead and end to playhead. Now, this method is what works for me. You can assign this to whatever you like. I like the 1, 2, 3. I also don't do much multicam. This can interrupt multicams because those keys are default for multicams. So kind of use this if you want or customize it however you like. So I'm going to go with my start to playhead. I'll keep the default one there, but I'm going to click the little plus to add a new one. I'm going to go 1. That's already assigned. I don't care. I'm going to click assign. Ends to playhead is going to be 3. And off we go. Now, I also want to change my Control B. Now, this is a super useful little trick for in here. If you don't know what you're searching for, just use this little on-screen keyboard above. So I know it's Control B, so I'm just going to hit the Control with my mouse, actually click this little Control on screen, and then go B, and it will say Razor application. That's what that shortcut does. So I'm going to go Razor. There it is, Control B. I'm going to make this number 2. Assign that, and then click Save. We can close that now. So now I can just go, right, I'm going to do a cut there, and that's the next bit of the thing. So I'll hit 1, and over here, this one's going to be a cut there, and I'll hit 3 over here. And we can just start to close these gaps and do kind of cut the A-roll together really quickly without moving my left hand whatsoever. Now, the reason I like 1, 2, 3 is the tilde key, which is next to 1, just above escape, by default, is undo. So I use my 4 fingers. I use my pinky to hit the tilde, and that undoes. So if you've made any mistakes, you go boop. I'm doing a lot of boops in this. You go boop on the tilde to undo, and you do your 1s, your 2s, your 3s, and you can just cut stuff together a million times faster than having to do Control B, use your mouse, click it, and then ripple delete. It's mega. Super, super useful. Right. Next up, I'm slightly behind schedule, so I know, I tried to pack a lot in. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is presets. One of the things which you see a lot of people spending time on is they don't always spend time doing the fun editing stuff. You spend time doing all the other stuff. You're creating your project, and then you're doing your timeline settings, and then you're trying to do a bit of color grading. You're trying to color grade the same thing that you've color graded a million times before because you haven't saved it. And you're setting up your audio, even though you've set your audio up before, but you didn't save that. There's loads of ways that you can save the time by saving these as presets in DaVinci Resolve. So let me show you. And the first one, let's do a new project super quick. When you click on your little gear or cog in the bottom right-hand corner to open up your project settings, you may already know this one, but it's worth repeating. Once you've set your timeline resolution, your frame rate, your color management, all this stuff, click on the 3 little dots in the top right-hand corner, and there's an option to set the current, option to set the current settings as a default preset. So if you only ever do like YouTube videos, for example, and you never fluctuate, you always use the same timeline resolution, frame rate, and whatever, just click that, and then you never have to think about it again. Or click Save Current Settings as a preset. This is what, 1080 30. Click on OK. And now you just come in here and go, what am I doing today? I'm doing a 1080p vertical 30, so I'll load that one. Or am I doing a 2.3925 color managed? I'll do that one. Or am I doing 4K HD 25? Whatever. You've just got all these settings which you can just create for yourself. You can then load them, update them, set as the default, export them, send them to your friends, trade like Pokemon cards. I don't know. You delete them. You can do whatever you want to do. And it's, again, super duper useful. Now there's a bunch of different, let's go back to this one again. There are other presets that you can save. I've got a few favorites. So one of them, if you're on DaVinci Resolve 19, which is currently in beta or beta, depending on where you're from, beta. If you're on DaVinci Resolve 19, the B word, then you'll have access to a bunch of these audio effects. So what you do is basically you click on the audio track. So I've got my audio 1 here on the timeline. We click on the actual track here in the inspector. We've got things like voice isolation, super clever, dialogue leveler, which I believe is in the free version. I looked that up earlier on. Dialogue separator, that's studio only, music remixer, and then the ducker. But the dialogue leveler is really good. So you activate the dialogue leveler, and then you've got options for like allowing wider dynamics, optimize moderate levels, more lift for low levels, and lift soft whispery sources. And then you can reduce the loud dialogue, lift the soft, and reduce background noises and that sort of stuff. And then you've also got the gain, so you can increase this. Now that's not much. You don't need to mess around with that much to set it up. But again, you can save it to just save you those few extra seconds. Top right-hand corner, it's kind of hard to see. There's a little like graph slider icon. You give that a click, and this pops up. You can then set it as you need to. And then there's a little plus, top left-hand corner, add preset. I'm just going to call this one like the YouTubes. And now I can just come in, select YouTubes, and it's all done. That works for the dialogue separator, the music remixer, the voice isolation, and it works for any of the audio effect stuff as well. If I was to grab the vocal channel, put that on there, customize this, click the plus, create a preset, and it's there. Create loads of them. You probably use the same mic. You might even do like me and you record in the same place. So your audio stuff probably doesn't change all that much. If you want to get super fancy, something I've talked about before, jump over to the Fairlight page. Again, customize anything you like. You can set your dynamics, set your EQ, make as many audio tracks as you like. Do all of the stuff that you would do. Then click on Fairlight at the top. Come down to the presets library, third one down. Change this filter by to the Fairlight configuration presets. And then you can save new. Now this one's dope because this one is ResolveCon. This, if you load this, it puts basically everything that you've saved in Fusion, pretty much, not Fusion, sorry, Fairlight. All of your audio stuff can just be loaded in one go. So all of those different presets, all of those different effects, all of the different tracks, all of your different volumes, mixers, EQs, pans, buses, whatever, it will all just pull through. And the main benefit for doing that is now if I create a new timeline, I've got an option to use a Fairlight preset. And I can just go, yeah, I want this brand new timeline to be the ResolveCon one. And I click create. And it will pull through all the right tracks, and all those tracks will have all of my effects and all of my audio stuff already done. So again, I don't need to waste time doing any of that audio stuff. Makes sense? Now, the last one I want to show you, again, I've talked about this before, but it's worth talking about again. Once you've made a timeline, so I've got this timeline 3, we'll use this one. This timeline 3, it's all the right settings, it's all the right resolution, frame rate, all of the audio is good. It's kind of got all the stuff that I want on it. If you right click on the timeline, go to timelines at the very top, timeline settings. No, I'm lying to you. Go to timeline, go to export, and then go to the top one, which is this AAF XML EDL. You can export this timeline. So I could put this on my desktop. So I'm going to put this on my desktop. Now, what this means is, let me just close this down. I'll use a one I've already set up in the past, which is my actual one. I use this for every project. DaVinci Resolve isn't even open, and I can double click on this icon on my desktop. Give it a second. I'll have a drink. A brand new project in DaVinci Resolve will open with that timeline. It's got all of my audio tracks. It's got all of my audio leveling, everything done. And it's all ready. So we don't even need to do anything. And then as soon as I hit save, it says, give this a name. Oh, I've already done that one. Yeah, that. And now in a brand new project. And as long as I don't delete that thing from my desktop, it can never be overwritten. So you've got this template which just boots up Resolve and puts you in the place ready to go. The timeline's ready. It's the right frame rate. It's the right resolution. It's got all of your audio stuff on there ready to go. Perfect. So in reality, what does that mean for some of my YouTube videos, for all of the YouTube videos I make, right? I double click that to get to this point where I've got a brand new project open and I've got my YouTube 30 FPS project ready to go, the timeline. So then let's find some folders. I'll grab this demo MrAlexTech project, drop that over there. Now I've got a folder, so I'm slightly more organized, and I've got my footage with my audio. So I'll sync that. Waveform, done. Super quick. Can drop that on the timeline. Can start cutting that up with my 1, 2, 3. There's also a way to save color. There's some other lovely people. We've got FrenchieColor going to be talking about color. We've got Daria talking about color. She's on next. And of course, we've got the effervescent Darren Mostyn is going to be talking about color. But on the color page, you can really quickly do any sort of color grading, right click and grab a still. And that's basically like a template, a preset for any color grading you do as well. I've got one set up here, which is the actual preset I use for all of my YouTube videos. I can just drag it over to the nodes and that will just pop on there. Or I can right click and apply the grade and that'll pop on there. Or we can middle mouse click. And again, you don't need to go through setting up the grading. The project's already in. My audio is already done. I can grab all of my color grading in a jiffy. So that's all on there ready to go. Then I can just start cutting this up using my 1, 2, 3, which means I can work much faster. If I want to go, oh, I haven't got much in this project, but I can go to all of my smart bins and everything's already filtered out for me. And I can go to my power bin and go, actually, at this point, I want to do a Magic Zoom. Magic Zoom is one of my plugins available to buy, or it's free. So you can go check it out if you want to. It'll do a little zoom. And it's already set because it's in my power bin and I've put it there ready to go. I want to do a little punch in. I grab it. There's a little punch in. Adjustment clip. I don't need to do all of this stuff over and over again. Thumbs up. Yeah. And there are more. You can do export templates. You can do loads of other templates. You can do all sorts of funky stuff, which just saves you loads of time. Loads of time. So next up, I want to show you, I'm low on time, so I won't have time to finish this, but there's a few nuggets in here. So let's jump into it. Excuse me. Try not to burp on live stream. And we will see how far we get. So I'm going to open this. This, kind of the main point of this I want to show you. We won't get very far into it. But I want to show you even some of the stuff which can seem scary in DaVinci Resolve isn't, especially when you've set up some templates and stuff. So this is a mate of mine who's called Rich Watson.
My name's Rich. I am a session guitar player. I'm a university lecturer. I am a small-scale YouTuber.
It's a little session we recorded. It's anamorphic. It was shot in Vlog. We've got a multi-camera setup and we've got a bunch of B-roll. So on paper, this is a much fiddlier, fancier project. But in reality, when you've set some stuff up and you kind of know ways to do this sort of stuff fast and efficiently, it's really not that bad. So let's just make a new project. And we're going to call this one, I don't know, demo 2, whatever. And first thing we will do, click on our project settings. Again, it's anamorphic, it's all weird, but because I'm smart, I saved a 2.39, which is the cinema scope, the widescreen, 20 FPS, color managed. So we're just going to load that. If we go to the color management, we are using this color managed workflow, and I'll show you why that's super useful in a moment. Let's grab my media, drop that in there. Boom, done. Folder's already set up, and I've got my B-roll, my music, and my interview ready to go. Now, this is all squished because it's anamorphic, and it looks bland because it's Vlog. Now, again, it sounds scary, and it sounds like, oh, this is getting fancy now. And it's really not. All you need to do, I've got this smart bin set up, so I need to select all of my videos in one big go. So I'm going to go collections, video clips. There we go. Much easier. I can highlight all of these. I'm going to right click, clip attributes. This is niche. I know not everyone's shooting anamorphic, but I just want to show you how simple some stuff can be. Pixel aspect ratio allows you to kind of de-squeeze. So we're going to go custom. The lenses I used are 1.6. I will de-squeeze that. And boom. Now it's de-squeezed. Now you kind of forget that it's anamorphic and you just treat it the same as anything else. So on the face of it, you're like, ah, and then you look at it and go, oh, yeah, fine. And then the same for Vlog. So we can, with all of these selected, we can right click. We can come down to input color space because we're in a color managed workflow. We can go Panasonic, Vlog. And there you go. It looks all right. Now, obviously, you wouldn't deliver. Well, you probably could. If you wanted to be able to knock something up and send it to the client or send it to your friends or family to have a quick look, that's perfectly fine. It's normalized. It looks pretty good. You could then obviously jump into the color page and do some fancy stuff with it, Darren it a little bit. But if you don't want to, you know, it kind of works. It's not bad. Now we need to create a timeline. So I'm going to go timelines, create new timeline. Now, this is all pulled through from the project settings. So the frame rate's going to be fine. The resolution's going to be fine, all that sort of stuff. It's an interview. I know I've used the mics before. I'm going to use my Fairlight preset I set up. I've already got one set up for interviews with my little lav mic. Boom. We'll create that timeline with those audio settings. And now I've got this voiceover with my dialogue leveler, with my effects already ready to go. Roughly. I can still tweak them. It's not set in stone, but it's there and it's ready to go. So all that stuff which looked intimidating and potentially could have kind of cost you loads of time at the beginning, it's done. It may still cost you time the very first time you do it, but as long as you save things along the way, you don't need to worry about it because it's all there and it's all kind of ready to go. So how long have we got? Not that long. Going into my interview. And I do need, let me show you what I can do with syncing these and multicams. I know the lovely Cameratim, I believe, is talking about multicams very soon. You should check that out. Cameratim is a ledge. So, but what I'm going to do is let's just grab this. Number one, angle one.
Okay. My name's Rich.
And let's just cut this up again. 1, 2, 3. Number one, close that right at the end.
All round freelance musician.
Get rid of the end. I think there's a bit of waffle in the middle.
I'm a small scale YouTuber.
Yeah.
Encouraging. And
close that gap. Boom. You can cut things up. 1, 2, 3. It's the future. And then we're going to do the other angle. Cut some stuff out of this. Really roughly. I won't spend too much time on that. You get the idea. We can build this up. Now, multicams. You all know that what I should have done, if you've used multicam, is to do the multicam at the beginning, right? And now I forgot to do it. But there's an easier way. And that's thanks to the cut page. Now I know. I bet lots of you are going, but I've hidden the cut page. Why is Alex talking about the cut page? The cut page is really useful. There's a couple of things that the cut page can do, and it can save you a bunch of time. One of them is the equivalent to multicams, and it's called the sync bin. So I'm going to jump over to the cut page. And I've got my 2 cameras, my 2 angles. We're going to select them both within the media pool. And this icon here is a sync clips. And then we go audio. It's a little icon here. And then we're going to sync. And that's just going to line them up. And I can hit play. And I can see that both
a session guitar player.
Angles are all synced up. Save sync. And you'll get these colored icons. We'll do the same for the other 2. Sync. Save sync. And we're done. Now, multicams, you can't really do that. You have to do that at the beginning. You can't do it halfway through the project. So with sync bins, you can. So they can actually save you a whole bunch of time if you've cut stuff together and then realized it should have been a multicam. Now what we can do is simply go sync bin. And I can just literally watch the project.
Small scale YouTuber.
I have find the point where I want my second angle. Click on my second angle. And then I get these little markers and I choose the bits. Choose how much I want to put on the timeline. There's icons down here to say, do I want just the video or just the audio or just want the video? And then this sneaky little icon here is called source overwrite. And what it would do is it would just find where that clip is in relation to the clips already on the timeline and put it in the right place.
several originals
So if we go back to the timeline,
projects. I'm a composer,
it's all synced
general,
up.
all-round freelance musician. Yeah, it's a
Sync bin. Even though we've moved on to another clip on the timeline, we don't need to go and open the second multicam or anything like that. We just keep playing and go, okay, this bit we want to go, yeah, that'll do. Pop that on there.
I mean, the mindset with Vicky is the
And it's a really quick way of building this up. And again, it looks scary, but it's not. You just work with angle,
the mindset
cut it up,
with
and
Vicky
then you
is
can
the same
quickly
as
go
with any
back
session
and
gig,
pop the
really.
two
Like,
angles
it's the same as
over
when
the
you're
top
doing
and
pop
build up
stuff.
your
Your focus is not on yourself.
shot.
It's always about.
Now, I'm not going to keep doing that because you get the idea. The next thing I want to do, I've got 5 minutes, is the source tape. So one of the things that everyone's done this. You're on the edit page and you go, I want some B-roll. I want some of the additional footage. So you go to B-roll and you go, oh, which bit do I want? I go, open this one. And you click through and you go, oh, I don't know. And then you go back to your timeline and you go, no, it wasn't that one. I'm going to get that one. And no, it wasn't that one. I go back to my timeline. And then you go, oh, I want that one. And it's really annoying because you're jumping back and forth and you're not too sure which bits you want. Again, you could build up a timeline, which is another way to do it. You can have dual timelines and stuff. But on the cut page, there's a thing called source tape. It's hiding up here, just at the top left of your preview window. And it will take all of the clips from your current bin, the bin you've currently got open, which in my case is full of B-roll, and it'll put it all into one timeline like this. And then you can just look through. So you can look through all the footage you've taken, or if you filmed a vlog or whatever, you can look through all of the footage you've taken throughout the day in order. Because you can actually, if you change the order of the bin, it will change the order of the source tape. And then you can just grab the bits that you want. I can do an eye. I don't know. I only want the video once again. So I've got my insert video only button clicked. I can drag. I can put this on the timeline, shorten this out.
Just as good as possible. And
I'm
how can
quickly
you
cutting to my other clips. Now you know I like keyboard shortcuts. I've talked about this. If you hit Q on your keyboard, you just jump back to the source tape. So again, another reason why I like my fingers. I've got me tilde, me 1, 2, 3, and then just underneath that I've got Q. Q just jumps from my timeline to my source tape. And it gets even better. Let's say on this clip here, I don't know, whichever one, you can see on the preview there's these little white lines. They separate the clips. They show you the individual clips that we're looking at. If I do Shift Q, I can jump into this actual clip. So now I'm looking at this clip in more detail. I'm going, well, right in that gap there. I'll do an in. I'll do an out. I'll drag, or I can use one of the insert shortcut keys or whatever. Let's lengthen this out a bit.
Support them in doing
we jump
their
to that
thing
second angle.
as well as they
I'm
can.
back on the timeline.
So
I hit play. I hit Q, and I'm back in this individual source kind of clip. And then I hit Shift Q. I'm back in my source tape. And then I go Q again, and I'm back on my timeline. And I go Q again, I'm back in my source tape. And I go Shift Q, and I'm back in the individual clip. And I go Shift Q, and I'm in my source tape. Oh, it crashed. too many shifts and Qs. Oh, it's not ResolveCon without me crashing, but I think I've got like a minute left. I think that's not bad. Oh dear. That's funny. Oh, that works. I mean, that was right. It was right at the end. I was going to jump in and show you maybe a few other bits, but there's nothing too much there. So that's it. The whole point of that final thing, the whole point of that last bit is to show you that stuff can look complicated and it's really not. And you can have fun with it and it's not all that bad. So,
oh man,
yeah.
That was so much fun. Alex, dude, you're a wizard. I don't know how you do this.
Was that too much? Did I try and cram in too much?
No.
Or was that good?
No, it was great. Everybody in chat's just like, dude, my mind, which is completely expected. That's kind of what it always is when you do a presentation. That's so awesome, man. Thank you for all these tips that I know, like just a couple of these tips is going to revolutionize people's workflow. Like I just saw people's like minds being actively blown.
That's good. Like if one thing you take away and go, this is awesome, then I'm done. I've paid my dues and I'm happy.
How do you learn all this stuff? How do you figure this stuff out? I'm still amazed.
Just being a big old nerd. Yeah, it's just a case sometimes clicking about and being like, surely they've thought of this. Like it's interesting. I kind of go like, I should take credit for this, but Blackmagic should take credit for it. Sometimes things aren't immediately obvious, but they're very smart. They've put a lot of stuff in there, and sometimes you're like, why have they not told anyone that they did this really cool thing? It's like, this is really good. They should be
there's
telling
too
people.
much, it's like there's so much stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this amazing thing.
Yeah. And
happens
you
all the
can't find
time.
it in the manual because the manual's like 5,000 pages.
Yeah,
So,
pretty crazy. Well, that's
yeah.
why we have a Mr. Alex, don't we?
I am a walking manual.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. All right, so we do have a few questions from the chat, and we have a fancy way to put them up on screen here. Look at this. All right.
Ooh.
Our first question comes from Tricore Digital. Is there a tip for editing the length of music clips to fit the video length easily, like in other apps that shall not be named?
No, but kind of, not really. So there's no built-in way. I know the app that you're talking of, and I know the feature you're talking of too. There isn't a way. You have to do it manually, as far as I'm aware, unless someone's made like a third-party thing I'm not aware of. But the easiest way to do it, can I show you a super quick? Thank you very much. One of the easiest, what I tend to do is, like, this song's quite obvious. Like, you can see all the sections. You have to kind of have a rough idea of music, but you can kind of line up the waveforms. So what I tend to do, let's just do a random cut on here. And this is one of the few times I jump into Fairlight, honestly, because when you're dragging overlaps on Fairlight, you can actually see both waveforms. So if, like, I've cut this section out, for example, and I want this bit to line up with this bit, I can kind of be like, oh, yeah, that waveform's kind of going to line up with there. And maybe I'll overlap this a bit and put that there, and then hit play and see how that sounds.
Nice.
This is probably going. It was close. I needed
it's
to
decent.
move it.
It's decent.
Yeah.
I think Cameratim actually just put out a video on this, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't gotten to watch the video yet, but I bet it gives you a pretty good idea. Just saying.
Yeah, Cameratim. He's such a handsome man.
So handsome. Gosh. It just never stops.
No.
Yeah. All right. So next question from Moses the Younger. Is this all in the free version, or are there things in the paid version?
Pretty much everything I just showed was in the free version. A handful of the audio effects are in the studio version only, but like the sync bin, the all of the cut page stuff, all of the audio sync, that's all in the free version.
Nice.
So yeah, there's an awful lot in the free version. Fusion, obviously everything you do in Fusion, that's all in the free version. You're pretty good to go, to be honest. Awesome. All the presets, all that's all in the free as well.
Yeah, there's quite a bit there. Okay, this one's from Paul, and it says, is there a way to change the default font for the title text to something other than Open Sans?
No, not by default. What I would probably do is just create my own little preset. If you were doing a standard text, this is quite easy, because you just go, this is a, I don't know, Nanito, and then you'd use a power bin, put it in your power bin, and then you just have to get into the habit of, rather than going to titles and text, you've already got one, and it's changed the font.
That's smart.
So that's
basically the same amount of work as just going to a different place.
You just got to teach yourself to go somewhere else. Yeah, it would be really nice to be able to go, like, my default font for all of the stuff is this. Like, that would be a cool feature, but no, there's no way that's built in.
Yeah, I try and set my default font to Comic Sans or Papyrus.
Oh, I like Webdings.
Yeah, Webdings is good. Chiller's a good one.
Yeah, I have used Chiller in the past in a project.
Font humor. All right,
that's how you know.
This one is from Morgan, my good friend Morgan. He said, "What is one plugin you recommend getting?"
Oh,
we all know what it is. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
Oh, I'm not going to say it.
Magic Animate, kids.
Yeah,
Magic Animate. If you guys don't know, Alex made a plugin called Magic Animate, and it is. I say this on the podcast all the time. Literally, I don't know if you're dumb if you don't buy it, but I do question your decision-making skills. If you edit in Resolve and you don't have Magic Animate, what are you doing? Like, think about your life. Get some help.
I didn't say it.
It's true. Anyone who has Magic Animated will agree with me. It sounds like an overstatement, but it's not.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I mean,
I don't often have a mic to drop.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Mine's attached. It's a bit meh.
All right.
Before we go on really quick, I do like I'm really proud of the stuff I've made. But obviously, Jake Wipp has made some dope stuff, and he's here.
Yeah.
Motion Effects do some really cool stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff, and there are more people doing stuff. There's a guy, and I've just forgot his name. He did a really cool paper effect, and it looked really good. So there are more and more coming out there. So yeah, just pay attention to the space, man. And if you're interested in making stuff, make stuff.
Yeah,
because we need more. We need more things. Oh, and someone
quite a bit. Of really
yeah,
good.
there's a really good plugin that's just come out again, and because I'm live, I'm forgetting everyone's name. So there's a good one out, and I don't know what it is.
Nice.
That's top tier advice.
So good. No, but yeah, I mean, there's some really talented people making some really great stuff. And what is it?
Bill Justice has done a third party thing, and it's got like spell check in it, and it's really cool stuff.
That guy's a genius, man.
He's super smart. Spark FX, someone just put it in the chat. Thank you. Yeah, Spark FX by Bill Justice. Well worth checking out. Give it a Google. Have a look.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome. Yeah, Jake Wipp's stuff is amazing too. I got to play with some of the early versions of it, and it's just like the fastest, smoothest, most optimized stuff I've used. It's just nuts. So, and of course, we can't forget Motion VFX. Motion VFX makes amazing stuff too. There's so much cool stuff out there. I don't know, but yeah, I mean,
and the paper one is by Mr. Justin, who's in the chat. He's just popped up, and it's reminded me of his name. So he's got a really cool little paper plugin as well.
That is really cool. Yeah. I've tried to make paper stuff myself, and I was like, I spent so long trying to make a paper thing myself a while back, and I'm just like, I'm just going to use this thing.
Yeah. Just like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. All right. Okay. We got to keep going here.
Sorry.
No more waffling. All right. Dale says, is it Dale? I think it's Dale. Says, for someone just getting started with the Resolve, is there a recommended equipment list anywhere that was done recently? Could be a YouTube video, even any free Resolve communities that you can recommend?
Ooh, good question. Equipment list. I use a keyboard and a mouse. I really like the new micro panel if you're into color grading. The speed editor is great if you do lots of like just cutting. You're cutting stuff together. The speed editor is really nice, or the full size keyboard. The one recommendation I'll say to anyone and everyone: get a good mouse. Get a mouse with some
3-button
on it. Yeah, get one with the clicky mouse wheel, because there's lots of shortcuts within DaVinci Resolve which you need you to click on the middle mouse.
Yeah.
So if you've got like a stupid magic mouse or whatever that funny one is, it doesn't work. So
and if you're confused by anything that we just said about a 3-button mouse, I have a tutorial on how mouses work. And I'm not joking. If that's really a trouble for you, search 3-button mouse, Casey Faris, and it'll come up, and I'll tell you everything you need to know about getting a $12 mouse from Amazon.
Boom.
Okay.
It's the best $12 you'll ever spend.
It is. It's the best hardware for Resolve.
Yeah. And part of the question was about Resolve communities as well, I think.
Yes.
Again, talking about Mr. Wipp, I think he's created the biggest DaVinci Resolve Discord.
Yep.
So that's well worth checking out. The DaVinci Resolve forum, the actual Black Magic DaVinci Resolve forum, is a really good place to just pop in. People ask questions, answer questions. You can report bugs. So that's all a good place. And then just find some like-minded people on Twitter and stuff. That's always a good place. X, Facebook, all those sorts of things.
Nice. All right. Here's another question. Can you move your mouse, Sam? So I can. There we go. It's all right. It's like small, and then there's a big part over here. Anyway, okay. Handshot says, is there a way to link sound effects to a transition and save it as a preset? Like I want a whoosh every time I use a zoom transition.
No. I'm pretty sure Spark FX, the new one, but it has a thing that does that. It kind of searches the timeline and puts things on, which is again super clever.
That's
but there's nothing that's built in, so which I know is a pain. The best thing you can do is just get into a habit of doing it. Have all of your sound effects stored in like a power bin, and you just grab them and drop them on whenever you do a transition. But yeah, I appreciate it. There's no automatic way of doing it at the moment.
Okay. Cool. Here's a question. How did you get into video editing?
Oh, just did it.
Cool.
I know that sounds really dumb, but I did. This is the joy of the time we live in. DaVinci Resolve being free, I was like, that's cool. I'm going to play with that. Now I'm here. And it's, I know that sounds really silly and dumb, but I started playing it with it as a hobby. Because it's like, let's play with this. This is cool. I had a drone. I wanted to edit some drone stuff together. And then I decided to put some YouTube videos up of me. I learned some stuff in Resolve, so I made some tutorials and put them up. And then I obviously asked friends to do some other things. And like the guy in the demo, Rich, he's a guitarist, friend of mine, Richard Watson. He's also on YouTube, so if you're into guitars, check him out. And I was like, hey, Rich, can I come and record you? And he was like, yeah. So then we put stuff together, and I've done some other stuff. I've been out and given some talks with Blackmagic, and one thing just literally led to another. So I hate to be cliche, but it's kind of like if you want to do it, just do it, and you never know. Yeah, you just never know. I was just like a nerd being like, I'm going to edit videos, and now I'm still that, but now I'm here.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that kind of thing, how to get started and how to be you start with the basics and start little by little on our podcast. And there's quite a bit of backstory on how Alex got started and I got started and stuff. So yeah, if you want more info, ! Podcast. But yeah, man, I think just starting out and keeping it simple and just continuing to try and improve 1% each time. That's the way to do it.
Certainly. Couldn't agree more.
All right. So Orbit for Creators says one project per video or one project for all videos. What do you use?
Oh, one project per video. Unless it's like multiple exports from the same video. But yeah, like one project per project kind of thing. It's just the way that I like to work. I like the clean slate. If I had too much going on, like I'd get confused and I'd be like, what's going on in here? Even though you're right, like I'm technically doing the same thing for every YouTube video, but it's like I like to have all my presets set up and I open it up and it's completely blank, and then I import my media and I kind of just know where I'm at then, and I just get going.
Yeah, it's really a smarter idea to have it as separate projects anyway, because if something happens to your project or it gets corrupted or something like that, and then you lose all your past projects, like that's probably not the best idea. Yeah. You can group them in folders and use templates and everything to kind of give you the same starting point. And I think that's a better way to go.
Yeah, it works for me. And yeah, that's the way I like to do it. It works. So
awesome. I think we got time for a couple more here. Okay, this is from Detective Mustaza. Is there a way to better visualize keyframe transformations, mainly size and time warps on the edit page?
No, there's people have complained about the keyframe editor on the edit page for a little while. On the edit page, no, you're kind of stuck with just the standard keyframe editor, the little one on the timeline. Fusion gives you more scope to do stuff. You've obviously got the splines and this, that, and the other, and it just visually looks a little bit better. On the edit page, there's not too much that you can really do with it. So, yeah. I mean, there's not much of a better answer as that. I don't think is the Casey.
Nope.
No, sorry.
Okay, question for syncing audio. What type of options are to sync audio properly when a clip or two are cut up? The cool kid thought he would remove all the non-action parts for you. I think you kind of went over that.
What type of options are still? I think this is when they're not sequential. So there's gaps. I think that's the question.
Or it could be like when they're edited, like if somebody removed all the parts and then rendered it and gave it to you, like that's kind of a nightmare. Yeah.
There's not much you can do when it comes to sync audio, because you just kind of use the auto sync, and there's not many options there. Have a look, actually, if we're talking multicams, which may be covered actually, and the sync bin stuff. Have a look at Cameratim. Did a really good video, multicam video. And even if it's sort of the clips are broken up into multiple parts, not necessarily with gaps, but you've got multiple parts. There's ways on the cut page you can like label the cameras and all this, and it just makes the whole process a bit easier. There's a very vague description. Sorry, I'm not very good, not doing a good job of that. But check out Cameratim. He's got a full video on that. It might not be what you want, but it's a really good way of labeling the camera so that when you do sync bins and stuff, it's really good.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. How much time we got? I think we got time for one more. So Sam, pick one.
Hit me.
All right. Well, not that one. Just kidding. All right.
Come on,
so, question is, I suppose the majority is stored in configure files, hopefully one. How can I export it to a backup and restore in case I reinstall DaVinci Resolve?
Hopefully the majority is stored in configuration. Yeah, so it's all in the library. Most of it's in the library, in the actual library itself. So let me open it up. Super quick. Wrong one. So from the project manager, if you go to your local, it's called a library now, a database. Got to remember this. You click on the little eye, and there's an option to back it up, and most of it is in there. To be honest, I think most of the presets are in there and all sorts of stuff. But a lot of the other things, let me open one of the projects, like the audio stuff I mentioned. Let me open this one. I'm pretty sure. Preset manager. Yeah. So if you set a bunch of audio stuff up, so this one's here, like my Alex dialogue processor, you click on the three little dots. There is an option to open this preset manager, which I think you can open directly from within Fairlight. And I can go like dialogue, Alex, export, and I can actually export this as, I think it comes out some sort of XML. It's the same with like the keyboard customization and all the audio stuff, and render the export presets that you can set up. And when you've taken a preset, which I forgot the name of, in the color page, all that sort of stuff you can actually just save or export out. So if you're really worried, go through the individual things which you've set up, which are kind of super key, and export them, back them up. They're tiny files. Send them to your cloud drive, like a Google Drive or a OneDrive or something somewhere. So you've got them, and boom.
Great. Alex, this has been amazing, man. Thank you so much for being here, sharing your wisdom with everybody. So if anybody wants to watch more of Alex, he's on YouTube, MrAlexTech. And everybody here should be subscribed to him. If you like Resolve, it's a no-brainer. All right.
Thank you,
Alex. Thank you, man. We'll let you
You're
go.
more than welcome. That's cool. I'll go have some dinner now because it's evening for me.
Enjoy.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great ResolveCon.
All right. Hey, thank you, everyone. Let's give Alex a hand in the chat. Go ahead and spam some emotes if you want to. That's the only time it's okay to spam, is if you're cheering for people. All right. That's stream etiquette. I don't know if you know. All right. So now's the time that some of you have been waiting for. We're going to announce the giveaway winners for this session. Are you ready? We're going to have like a little drum roll. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. I'm so awkward. Anyway. All right. Congratulations to Greg Rubin, who won the Motion VFX voucher. Very, very exciting. Gloria Messer, who's won the Action VFX voucher, and Richard Jenner, who won the Speed Editor. So we will be in touch with you guys through email and make sure that we can get your shipping info and everything that we need to get to the companies that are going to send those things to you. Isn't that awesome? So cool. Don't worry if you didn't win. We're going to be having giveaways for every single stream during ResolveCon. One note, if you have not considered, I would heavily consider getting the VIP ticket for ResolveCon. The VIP ticket gets you access to 2 extra days of ResolveCon that will not be streamed on this channel. It's going to be like a private, almost like a Zoom call thing that we're doing this weekend. All right. And there's going to be 9 extra sessions with amazing teachers who are going to be teaching a little bit more advanced, a little bit more interactive kind of workshops. And the price goes up tonight. So this is the last day that you can get that VIP for the current price, which is $197, I believe. So please, if you want to get VIP, now is your chance. Do not wait. Okay. So I'll give you another reminder here in a little bit, but make sure to do that if you want. If you think you might do the VIP, just do it, man. It's heavily worth it. Okay. Here's what we're going to be doing next. We're going to take a break. We're going to make sure all our tech stuff is all crazy and make sure everything's working. And then we're going to be back on with Daria on my channel here at 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. For all you foreign people, that's going to be 50 minutes from now. All right. 50 minutes from now. This video that you're watching right now is going to turn into a YouTube video. All right. So don't come back here. Come back to my channel and there should be a live thing just like you did with this one. Okay. So 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time in about 50 minutes from now, come back to my channel and we're going to be streaming with Daria. You do not want to miss Daria. She is amazing. All right. See you guys in a little bit.